Hello, this is Alex from signalsaudio.com, and I'm just going to demonstrate some of the Gods Cab impulse responses. So I guess let's just get down to it. I have a DI track here that I've made, and I created this with a Godin Redline 1, which has an EMG 81 pickup. I ran it through a Radial J48 direct box, and on the actual amps, it was reamped with a Radial X amp. The only other thing you should know is that the string sizes that I use on the guitar are much heavier in gauge than what most people would pretty much ever consider using, but to me, the heavier gauges just sound way better, so I'll post a picture up of the strings that I'm using here. And, okay. Moving on. First tone here is Rampfire. I guess it's supposed to sound like Rammstein or something, or it's just in Guitar Rig 4, I think. And I bypassed the cabinet. I've actually just deleted it. So it's just the amp head. And this is running it through the SM57 2-inch Edge Presence 2 impulse response. And I guess I'll take a second to kind of explain what that means as well. I have the manual here. You definitely should read through the manual when you download this. It kind of clarifies a lot of stuff. Here's the positions of the microphone. So what this means, SM57 is the microphone, like, sure, 57. Everyone, yeah, pretty common. 2 inches is the way, the distance from the grill mesh. Edge is the microphone position. You can see it here. It's these are each an inch, and that one's right on the middle of the cap. And presence 2 is the presence setting on the power section when I made the impulse response. So basically, the higher the presence number, the more treble it has, and that's pretty much all you need to know. So I'll just play that for you. So there you go. I guess that DI track has something for everybody. Hopefully. Okay. Here is a U87 room impulse. You can have a listen to this. It's definitely going to sound a lot more distant because it was like 20 feet from the cab kind of thing, like pretty far away. And you'll notice that it's also a much longer impulse response, because the grill ones, they don't really have any reverb or anything, but this one actually has a bit of a reverb tail to it, which really helps define the depth and stuff. Just check it out. Okay, another nice thing about these impulse responses is that they're all phase coherent, so you can actually blend them together without, shouldn't be any phase problems. If there are, let me know, I guess. So I'll fade the room impulse in so you can kind of hear what that sounds like. So yeah, you really have a lot of control over building tones and adding depth to them, etc. Let's see. The next one is the Lecto Plugin, which is which is a free one. Here's the settings I have it on. Yeah, it's pretty much just standard fare. And here's what that sounds like with MD421 grill. So it's touching the grill. It's in the edge position, and it's on presence 2. Check it out. Okay. So here is the same impulse, but with a tube screamer run before the power section. Actually, it's a slightly different impulse, but really similar. And going back to the manual again, I ran a tube screamer before the power section for some of the impulse responses to boost the mid range. As you can see, without the tube screamer, pretty much a little bit scooped. But when you add the tube screamer in front of the power section, it kind of evens it out a lot, which is very useful for mixing because guitars are mainly a mid-range instrument, and if you're scooping out all your mids, your guitar will not cut at all and basically just be a mess forever. Okay. So we can hear what that sounds like. So it should have more mids. Okay. So you can also mix these two together, which is kind of handy if you can kind of dial in how, like what kind of mids you want. I'll show you. So it almost acts like an EQ in that kind of situation. Okay, these next ones are real amps. I did an orange Tiny Terror and a 6505 Plus. And how these were done is I reamped with the Radial X amp into the amp, and then out the speaker out ran into a Weber attenuator, and the Weber attenuator has a line out on it, the one that I bought, the Weber Mass 200, and I think that's right. Yeah, the Mass 200, and it has a line out on the back, and I ran out of that into the mixer and then into the impulse responses. So here's kind of what that sounds like with various settings. So here's the first one, Orange Tiny Terror, all controls noon, 7 watt mode, SM7B, 2 inches, edge, presence 3. Fantastic. Okay. Next one is the Orange Tiny Terror. What did I write? 9 o'clock gain. I guess, yeah, okay. Gain's at 9 or 9 o'clock. 7 watt mode on max volume. So I guess this is going to be a much cleaner tone. The impulse it's using is the U87, grill, edge, presence 3. Most people wouldn't put a U87 on a cab, but I had one and I was like, yeah, let's do it, whatever. Okay, here it is. Okay, and the next one here is the same amp settings as the last one, and this is using a stereo impulse that comes with God's Cab, 2 Rode NT5s in stereo in a large live room, and you'll definitely hear the stereo effect when I play this. This tone's very clean, so I'll just play the clean parts. Okay, so once again, you can mix those together. We'll just mix these two quickly. Show you what that's. Also, you might want to try using a stereo enhancer to really enhance the effect here. Check that out. It makes it way more obvious. there's also as well there's a live room stereo one, and there's also a dead room stereo one. The dead one is in an acoustically treated smaller room, so the effect is a lot less pronounced, a lot more subtle. But it's still there. Wicked. Moving on. 1 second, just gotta change hats. There we go. So this is the 6505 Plus. Oh yeah, and the orange and the 6505 Plus all have JJ tubes in them. So this guy. Okay, here's the settings. 6505 Plus, pre 4, low 6, mid 2.5, high 4.5, post 2, which is, sounds good to me, whatever. And these are, okay. These ones are all using the same impulse response, so you can compare directly the differences in kind of tone. Okay, here we go. So this is 57 grill, cone, near, presence 3, and this is what that sounds like. This is run through the Weber attenuator as well. Okay, and here's the same thing, but with a tube screamer in front of the amp. Not a tube screamer impulse, a tube screamer actually in front of the amp. Like how it's supposed to be used. And you'll probably hear a difference when I play this part in particular, that this one is actually a lot tighter sounding than this one. It's very subtle when you hear them one after another, but when I play them, like, that didn't make any sense, but here you go. Check it out. So there you go. The one at the tube screamer to me does sound a little bit tighter and better. Less mud. Here is the 6505 running out of the preamp line out instead of going to the attenuator. So this is just the preamp section, and I don't know if you've heard or have 6505 pluses, or I would guess it'd be about the same with the 5150. That the power section really doesn't affect the tone that much, but it's surprisingly true. Check it out. This is same settings as this guy here that was run through the attenuator with the power section. This one is the same without the power section, coming right out the back of the amp. Okay, check it out. Okay, listen to it with the power section now. And now the ones with the tube screamer in front of the amp. So this one has yeah, okay, this one's the attenuator one. This is the line out. Eerily similar. I guess that's about it. If you use the impulse responses and like them a lot, feel free to donate. I'll make more. Yeah. Post up, I guess, whatever tones you make. Yeah.